Hello everybody, I'm Jessica and welcome back to Tensei Shitara Ken Deshita, the Sword Isekai. Uh, this recording is a little bit of an experiment, I guess you could say. I'm recording it before going to work. Essentially, I came back from work yesterday. I went to sleep at 3 in the afternoon. I woke up at 3 in the morning, ate half a bag of Lays, and made myself some coffee, and I'm recording right now. Uh, if you think it sounds like depression, it probably is, but at least it allows me to record videos without the tiredness with after coming from work. Right, I can record it before before going. So I don't know if it's gonna have any impact on my videos, on my commentary, on my whatever. Hopefully it doesn't, but if it does, be sure to tell me. So I'm gonna try to figure out something else. Okay, enough about that. Let's talk about the show. What happened in the previous episode? In the previous episode, two major things have happened, really. The previous episode was very much, in my opinion, in my mind, very much split in like two halves. The first half was the fight with the blue cat, that Fran, of course, won. And the second half was meeting the adventure elf mummy lady that decided suddenly to essentially adopt Fran. And yeah, those were the two events. But they very much seem like two very separate things to me. I said as much in the previous episode, where the first half, the fight with the blue cat was hmm, very climactic and very climax-like. Something that kind of ends an arc, a boss fight, if you will, because not only did it lead to Fran's growth and her like breaking through her fears, breaking through her fears mostly because she was very much afraid of that blue cat, but she managed to break through that, enter some sort of a berserk state, and win the fight. It also led to a lot of character growth for Shishou, where he decided that he can't judge the actions of people in this world by the morals of his own world. Right? It's a different world, it's different rules, different sensibilities, so he has to adjust to those. So that was the one like serious bit, the serious half of that episode, and then we had that haha funny half of the episode with the appearance of the A rank. Is she A rank? I think she's A rank. Of the A rank adventurer who very much likes little children. We don't quite yet know in what sense exactly, but judging how she runs an orphanage, it's probably not nefarious, although it remains to be seen, of course. We met her, and shenanigans ensued. And that's essentially the second half of the previous episode. In today's episode, we will see Fran head over to some new dungeon to clear it alongside that adventurer. And we saw a little bit of a glimpse at what's going to happen. And they're going to fight for some reason, be it to test Fran's actual strength or for some different reasons. We don't know that yet. But we are headed to a dungeon to clear it, to be allowed to go for another dungeon. Uh, to this excursion is to both prove Fran's actual worth. Not everybody is inclined to believe that she deserves the rank she has, because nobody really saw her conquer that dungeon. It's just eyewitness reports, really, and her own, because nobody went in with her. And of course, the Guildmaster also wants to clear his own name because people are spreading rumors that he gave Fran that rank because he has a weakness for little girls. So 2 birds with 1 stone, 3 birds with 1 stone, really, because we also get a permission to go for that other big dungeon to clear it, to gain more crystals, to grow stronger, etc. And yeah, that about sums up the previous episode. In today's episode, we will probably see them all travel towards the dungeon. Maybe we're going to enter it. For sure, we're going to see the fight that Fran will have with the elf mummy. I forgot her name. I'm just gonna call her elf mummy. And yeah, that's about as far as my expectations go. I don't, I can't see anything like super dark, super nefarious, super evil happening. I can't really see Fran being, I don't know, betrayed or anything of the sort. I think we're going to see a more or less, well, maybe not light-hearted episode. It will be more adventure focused rather than drama focused. Yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, let's just watch it. Here's our subs. You're gonna need them to follow along. Sound, I'm gonna need it to hear what's going on. And of course, support the channel if you want monetarily, Patreon, Throne, or non-monetarily share my content, spread the word. It does help the channel a lot and costs you nothing. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode, which one is it? Episode 8? I think so. 9? Episode 9. We're slowly nearing the end of the series. We're 3/4 in. So yeah, episode 9 of Tensei Shitara Ken Deshita. It's going to be starting in 3, 2, 1, go. And here she is. Yeah, she had a nightmare. Exactly. Why are those mooks important? Cruz, Azure? Is he from Azure Lane? Yeah, I mean... A healer slash mage and a samurai looking guy. And here's some Mad Max looking guys. Victor, Bulls, and Geno. Why do you not have a nose? Oh, you do. Now you don't. Schrodinger's nose. Yeah, everybody has at least some semblance of a nose. Fran has a highlight. Those guys have like a bit of a line. It's just that one dude that has no nose whatsoever. No, he does have a bit of a line. Noses are weird in this series. A simple introduction. And here we have the antagonist of this arc. I mean, not supposedly, she is rank D. It's a fact. Whether you believe it is deserved or not, it's irrelevant. She is rank D. And probably should be much higher. At least like B rank, maybe C rank. Then again, I guess it's just the matter of experience that stops her from reaching higher ranks, honestly. Strength-wise, wouldn't surprise me if she was A rank, but she doesn't have the experience experience of an A rank, right? That's also an important factor. You can be super strong, but if you don't have the if you immediately jump to A rank without actually gathering the experience, like conquering 15 dungeons or whatever is required to gain A rank normally, then yeah, it could cause issues. And you probably shouldn't be an A rank. Yeah, I can see Fran keeping her D rank for a while, maybe being promoted to C. Uh, Hopefully, we're not gonna see a situation where by the end of the season she's already A rank. Oh, that's a new enemy. That's a new bit, and that's another new bit in the opening. The opening is changing. Okay. Color me surprised. When a duel. That's a serious accusation. Shouldn't have said that. Should not have said that. Yeah, she has the nothing personal skill. She ain't got no mama. That's the problem. Now you feel like shit, don't you? Yeah. And they would gain no experience. And wouldn't be a test. That's right. Watch the boss be a D rank. Okay, simple enough. That's a cool looking water. Okay. So essentially a monster spawner. Yeah, you get what you deserve. Should not have said that. Also should not have attacked your fellow adventurer. Isn't it like one of the tenets of being an adventurer? Should have been demoted the first instance of trying to attack a fellow adventurer, honestly. It's cool. Rock formation. What's the deal with the 6 moons? That's one thing that really interests me. Yeah, exactly. She's just to observe. You are to do all the work. Whomst? Oh, this guy. Let's duel? But you probably should knock him down a peg or two. Okay, you don't make fun of Shishou. That's... That's a trigger for Fran. Okay, let's duel. Friendly duel. Okay. What led to Fran fighting the elf, though? Ooh, he opened his eyes. Things are getting serious. I mean, why would they? It's just a friendly duel, right? Okay, can we steal this skill? I have no clue what it does, but it looks cool. Self-buff of some sort? True. A prayer? First time we see... Uh, actual, like, invocation of magic of any sort. Usually it's like a... just a simple call, right? Like, fireball or whatever. This was a full-on invocation. You gonna do the trick with storage? No. You're just gonna throw away the scabbard. That's gonna be a first then. I mean, you can't really argue about that. Spears do have range advantage. I guess he has a whole fandom with him. Not as much a team as a fandom. Nothing personal, kid. And a kick to the face. Perfect. Didn't even need the sword. Yeah. She just used the kick to the face. Time to use the sword instead. What's going through your head? Wanna duel with me now? Okay, so that's how we get to that fight. I mean, true, it wasn't much of a show. What if Amanda wins, though? I adopt you? Or that. Sure. The stakes are high. The stakes are very high right now. Okay. That's a nice mindset. How she herself can manage 1v1, not 1v2. That's a thick whip. Ooh. Okay, she's really good with this whip. Block. Dodge. Okay. True. Whips are dangerous. Yeah, she's managing to dodge some attacks by an A rank. Hasn't really been on offensive yet, but strike from behind. Yep. And a handle strike. Okay. That's cool. There is none. Forgive me, master, but I must go all out just this once. Yeah, it does have some mana conductivity. And it's essentially alive now. Okay. She can control it, not just whip it around, but turn it around and all. Yeah. The whip is alive. Basically alive. Yeah. She's having fun. Time to use some magic, maybe? Time to use some skill? Time to steal this skill? Nothing personal here? Almost. Right, she never managed to do that, did she? And she was preparing to double cast some fire magic. Propel herself with air burst. Okay. Now she can turn that whip right around. Also, she still has a handle. And magic. Okay. Fire burst from behind. Ara ara. Okay, that was a mini nuke that was just set off. She's still standing, of course, but that's a pool of lava. Something you didn't get to. Some sort of a frost shield, probably, judging by the looks of it. Resurrection. Spirit's Undying Favor. Probably resurrection spell. And that's health potions. Oh, nullifies one attack and has 24-hour cooldown. That's super useful. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Probably. Also, trees? What trees? It looked like just the barren place with rocks. Once. Once a day. Okay. Memories of mother. And she's gonna subconsciously call her mama. Is that what's gonna happen? Oh, Okasan. Yeah, physical wounds are one thing, but using up mana and energy is another. Yeah, if Amanda didn't have the skill, she would have lost. Yeah? Gonna keep to your word, or? Yeah. Don't force yourself. Okay, that's nice. That's a nice tender moment, and it paints Amanda in a whole different light. Not even different, just better. Okay. Now Fran has a mother and a father. And they decided to duel each other as. Oh, just duel Amanda. Gotcha. Yeah, Fran might not be an A rank, but B rank? Probably. What's that Yu Gi Oh card? Okay. The permission card or whatever. No, it's his like adventure license, right? And the barrier is set up so that a registered adventurer with a sufficient rank and permissions can enter. I think that's it. The totally unfair spider traps. Okay, that's the episode, I guess. After those credits, there usually isn't anything else. So I guess we can just jump straight into watching it again, shall we? Uh, four groups essentially, if you count Fran as a group. You have the blonde knight with with a mage, I think. A mage and some sort of a ronin. On the left, you have a group with like an elven sage or whatever was his class. A healer, because healers wear the funny hats, if I'm not mistaken. Mages don't wear funny hats. Healers do wear funny hats. And a halfling? Probably a halfling. And of course, this guy's group. Spear Hero and his three Sherpas. Because we don't really know much more about them. Oh, and I guess they do have some bucket helmet guy also. Two rank E parties will be using this quest as a test to rise to rank D. Okay. Azure Guardians, a rank C party. Who are they? Let's see. Do we get details on them? Blonde Swordsman, party leader, of course. A Rig, human water mage. Azel, human. Okay, thief. Thief is his class, and this guy is a swordsman or a knight or something of the sword. Next, our antagonist, probably turned ally eventually. Krad, also a human fighter. I thought that, judging by the white hair, the weird scar, orange-ish skin tone, and the lack of a nose, I thought initially he's a different race. He's like demon folk or an oni or something like that. Kind of like Donadrond, but without horns. But no, he's just a human fighter. Transport, acrobatics, dangerous sense, hunger resistance, spear art, spear mastery, intimidation, climbing, spirit manipulation. And his three goons in the Dragon's Roar, Victor, Bowles, and Genel. Without any classes to them. Also, all of them have the same symbol. Yeah, Krad has it. Krud, something like that. Krad has it across his eye, and those guys have it differently. But it's still the Thunderbolt. Victor has it on both arms. Bowles has it on his forehead, and Genel also has it on his both shoulders. Gonna pass this test, of course. Rion. Wood Elf, Spirit Sorcerer. Bow Mastery, Gathering Cultivation, Sense Evil Spirit, Wood Magic, Botanist, Sleep Resistance, Spirit Magic, Earth Magic, Water Magic, Identify Plant, Protection of Spirits, Mana Manipulation, Child of the Forest. Like the GM. Family? Probably not. Eyes of the Forest. Okay. So we don't know anything about the rest of them. Also, here's an interesting weapon. It's like a club made out of a wasp nest. some of the designs in this show are really, really unique. The hammerhead hat this guy has that goes with his hammerhead staff. Do we learn more about them? No, we do not. Amanda. We all know and love Amanda. And Fran. Interesting that the opening was modified. Before then, in this place was the High Demon and the Goblin Summoner, and now we have an Arachne. Yeah, she is some sort of a Drider, a spider lady embedded in a spider. I wonder, should this anime continue in future seasons, which I hope it does. I do hope it does. I wonder if they're gonna do the same thing with like individual arcs, individual like bosses of arcs, right? Every time we kill a boss of an arc and a new arc starts and we learn about the boss of the new arc, they swap the opening a little. That'd be cool. Here we see Fran with a wolf. What's the deal with that wolf? A familiar we're going to find? Or is it the skill that Shishou picked up, summon familiar or whatever it was called, that was foreshadowed so much? Perhaps that's it. Perhaps that's a summon. Not a familiar that they just find, but rather a summon. And we see the current members of her quote-unquote party. Amanda. She's shown in a similar way that the whatchamacallit, the lieutenant was, kind of like a secondary boss of the arc. Which I guess she was, because Fran did have to duel her. She wasn't an antagonist of the arc, but she was a boss of the arc. Also, I just noticed, what are those pants? What are those pants? They're like, I don't know, saggy socks and a garter strap. What's this sense of fashion? And I think she's wearing like a one piece kind of, not a swimsuit, but like a one piece thing. I forgot the name for it, and the socks are connected to it by garter straps. I mean, fantasy fashion sense, am I right? Duel. And yeah, probably shouldn't slander Fran in Amanda's presence. We will explore the spider's web. During our exploration, we will collect the crystals that spawn in the dungeon core room. Dungeon uses the many crystals within its monsters as its source of power. So, do not wipe them out. Do not collect all of the crystals. We want the dungeon to remain active, under our control, but active. As long as it's active, it's going to spawn new loot, it's going to spawn new monsters, and we could use them. We use them as materials, as, I know, alchemical ingredients, stuff like that. Makes sense, and I really do like that bit. I really do like it. The fact that they are using dungeons like monster spawners in Minecraft. The goal isn't to destroy a dungeon, the goal is to control it. Kill the dungeon master, sure, but leave some crystals here and there so that they can multiply and they can spawn monsters and we can continue gathering resources from there. You don't often see that. Usually it's the case of we need to destroy the dungeon, right? We need to kill the boss and shut the dungeon down. Not many pieces of media in general go for like continuous exploitation of a dungeon. I think Dungeon Meshi would be like the best example of continuous exploitation of a dungeon. Another example would be what was it called? The one with Hestia, the goddess Hestia with a ribbon under her boobs. Is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon? Something like that. There was also just one singular dungeon that they enter and gather materials, and then they get out. And they try to conquer it, sure, but before that happens, they continuously exploit it. I really do like it. I really do like this approach. It gives uh, additional cohesion to the world, you know? Because it's always the deal with dungeons. Not always, but very often it is the case of, oh, the dungeons are unnatural, they aren't part of this world, they shall be purged, and whatnot. Meanwhile, these dungeons have been appearing here since the dawn of time, so by now they are natural. And like everything natural, people should have learned how to exploit them. People are fucking amazing at exploiting nature, so dungeons should be no different. And this series understands that. Thumbs up, I appreciate it. That's a cool looking water. I think it's done with 3D. Yeah, it's animated on ones, so probably 3D, with some particle effects. A straight plane with some moving texture. Doesn't change the fact that it does look cool. And I don't get the like CG-ish feeling from it. So yeah, that's cool. I like it. And he's playing Team Rocket to Fran essentially, trying to foil her plans, trying to, I don't know, knock her down into the water, and of course failing every single time. He's this kind of a comedic antagonist, I guess. And of course behind him, Bulk, Skull, and Skull number 2. We're staying the night, keeping watch. Those are interesting fire logs. And yeah, what was the talk about trees? Those look like rocks, but are they really trees? Is it like just badlands where the trees all just fell over and it's just sharp stumps growing out of the ground? Or are those the plants? They don't have green leaves or nothing, they just grow those pointy stubs out of the ground. I wonder. In any case, that's cool. I really, I said it time and again, but I really do love how different this series is, how different the world is. It's not just vaguely medieval, vaguely Europe, but magic and glowing mushrooms, the way it usually is in a fantasy series. Now we actually have some weird ass fucking plants. We have some weird ass animals. We have some weird ass dresses and headwear and things like that. It's all weird. It's all unique. It all looks like a different planet, as it should. As it should. And at the same time, it's not like forcefully weird. Like some series are trying to be like super unique and super weird, or rather, wrong way to put it. Some series do try to show the viewer or the reader that, hey, we are unique. This series is unique. This world is different. By having like one animal that's like an overgrown chicken and has a horn, and that's used as a carriage animal. It's a fantasy world, but everybody's still riding horses and eating pork, and there are cows somewhere in the fields over there, and that's aspen and that's oak, right? There are series that are like, oh, we have one singular token different animal, or one singular token different plant, like commonly used glowing mushrooms. Regular European forest, but the mushrooms are glowing, so it's fantasy. This is going way above and way beyond that, and I love it. Yeah, you can badmouth Fran all you want, but you do not badmouth Shishou. That's where the line is drawn. Let's have a friendly duel. This motherfucker opened the eyes. That means shit's about to go down. When a character who's constantly having their eyes closed just suddenly opens them, yeah, you know shit's getting serious. Some dragon roar or whatever. The dragon inside me starts to roar, and you can actually see like dragon eyes and stuff. Bit of chuny, but sure. A barrier of wind and earth to keep watch for any monsters. This is the first time we see actual invocation. Great gales of the heavens guide and protect me. Yada yada yada. Double cast. Double element cast. Not just double cast. Double cast with different elements. She didn't cast 2 fireballs. She cast air shield and earth shield. Spells of 2 different elements at once. And she's a spell sword. Gotta love it. Gotta fucking love spell swords. Tip jumped into his hand. Here comes move number 18. They are just his fandom, essentially, his fan base. Of course, Fran can dodge. It's Fran we're talking about. She's a cat. Cats are agile like that. Also, that was some cool smears. And some cool smears on his face as well. Yeah, this frame. I really do like how they animate combat. It's very fast, very snappy. You can feel the agility. And this like super quick snap with the background, like that kind of a tilt shift effect. You're already out of breath. Indeed, I mean, he swung his weapon like 3 times and he's already out of breath. Fran doesn't even need to use a sword, just a roundhouse kick to the face, and that's that. 3 different cameras like it's MMA. This is the power of my super amazing sword, but she didn't actually use it. So, he's not defeated yet. Now I'm going to defeat him with my sword. It matters what's the final strike dealt with. And she's smacking him with, yeah, the flat side of the blade. Swordback strike, swordback strike, swordback strike. And this is the meat and potatoes of this episode. Fight with Amanda. I want to know how long I can last against rank E. It's not even about winning, it's about testing your mettle. Makes perfect sense, I can appreciate it. Wyvern Whisker Whip. Mana conductivity, additional skills, control weight, and elastic. Elastic probably means it can bend much more than you would think, and control weight, she can make it lighter to swing it easier, but then at the moment it's about to connect, she can make it heavier, so the impact is stronger. That's cool. That's cool. Weapons that can control weight. It's not a common concept, but if you think about it, it makes sense, right? You swing your club, some coffee foam, your club or your sword or whatever around when it's super light, so you can move it super fast. But then as you're about to connect, you suddenly increase the weight and just cut through the enemy with sheer weight alone, not even with the speed you gained, but with just the weight. Or crush them with just the weight. That's cool. I like it. Whip. Whip, whip, whippity whip. Yeah, she really is good at using her whip. She truly is an A rank. And that's true. If she's not careful, the whip could yank her sword out of her hands. That's a problem when fighting a whip user, right? They can just whip your weapon around and pull it towards themselves, and you're disarmed. And they still have their whip after they uncoil your weapon from it, and maybe even they have your weapon still. Running away all this time, can't find an opening, and now we're getting serious. Whip gets animated. It becomes a snake. It becomes not sentient, but it becomes like a familiar to her, essentially. It's a cool effect as it's going through Fran's hair. Serpent Strike. And yeah, just goes through Fran's hair. Barely missing her face. And since it's animated, it can coil right around. She doesn't need to like recoil it and strike again. She can just direct it around. Probably with less force than she would be able to give it by swinging it and striking again, but still. It's writhing around like it's alive or something. It almost is. Surefire kill. Of course, Fran is amazing. Split mind. Yeah, so it's a delayed cast of that split mind. I thought she's going to like cast two spells at once, and I was waiting for the moment of her casting like two fireballs. Casting one fireball or fire blast or whatever, Amanda deflects it or something, but behind all the smoke, there's another fireball coming her way, and she can dodge that. But no, Fran kept it for later. Essentially used split mind in advance, but first she hastened herself. Yeah, started chanting, casting spell first, the fire spell, and then thanks to split mind, she used this air burst. Yeah, this air burst or whatever to propel herself even further. And at the last moment, she finished chanting the fire spell. Yeah. Flare Blast. And that's where it's set off. Interesting mechanic to the chanting, to the invocation of a spell. It isn't cast until you finish the invocation. Right? Because Fran started chanting the invocation early on, and then she stopped, and now she finished chanting it by calling the name Flare Blast and launched it. How long can you keep it up? Does the spell fizzle out if you don't finish the invocation in an hour, for example? If so, then can you invoke the spell one word at a time with hour-long breaks? How long can you suspend the invocation? If there's a spell with a particularly long chant, can you start the chant like in the morning after you wake up? You go through the entire page of a chant and leave out just the last word, and when you need to use it, you just say that last word? What if you use that last word in conversation? Does the intent matter? That you're using that word with the intent to finish the chant? Or if the last word is, I don't know, flame, and you go to a tavern and you order flame grilled burger, the whole joint suddenly explodes because you finished the chant by saying flame? Some interesting mechanics at play here. Very interesting. I love it. Also, I love this shot. super detailed shadows. Newton's law of physics. It blasts Fran away as well. Arara. Yeah, Fran was also caught up in the explosion. That's essentially a mini nuke that was set off. And of course, she was able to survive. I thought it's some sort of like ice shroud or ice shield or whatever, but now she has a skill, Spirit's Undying Favor. Do we have details on that? We probably did, but I don't think I'm gonna look for it. Spirit's Undying Favor. Yeah, it allows her to negate one attack per 24 hours, whatever that attack might be. Very useful, for sure, especially for an adventurer like her. Healing potions. Oh, now we have the details. Spirit's Undying Favor automatically nullifies one attack that would deal a devastating damage, cooldown 24 hours. So essentially, once every 24 hours, she can nullify a killing blow. That's extremely powerful, and that's probably one of the things that allowed her to raise to an A rank. What would have otherwise killed someone, she just managed to nullify and survive. Yeah, who the fuck were you trying to fight, my dude? She can just summon a nuke at your back and she went easy on you. Douse the flames, sure. We shouldn't have used fire magic around all these trees. They still look like rocks to me. I still don't see a single tree. Unless they are, as I said, just sharp stumps, or unless they are trees, they just grow like that. They don't have leaves, they are just stumps above the ground surface. Or maybe it's autumn or winter and they shed all their leaves or something, I don't know. I don't know, but I love the fact that I don't know, right? It's cool, it really brings the feeling of this being a different world, that I don't know how those plants work. I can draw a parallel to an oak. I can draw a parallel to a fern. Because they are completely different and weird, and I don't understand them, and I love not understanding them. She can use whip arts and wind magic plus a unique skill indeed. Flashbacks to Mother. You're a kid, it's okay for you to get help from grown-ups now and then. Correct. Exactly correct. Reminds me of the management of a novice alchemist. One of the episodes, there was also a moral of, hey, you can get help from your friends, from your master, from adults. There's no shame in that. We all need help sometimes, and there's no shame in reaching out for that. I lost the duel. Yeah, she wants to stay true her word, but she really doesn't want to say it. Thankfully, Amanda understands. She went from a purely like comedic relief character to me, kind of annoying comedic relief, in this moment to like a character that I actually do enjoy. I actually started liking her right here, right now. That she understands you already have a mom in your heart. You don't trust me right away, but I am ever your ally. If you need me, I'm there. Nothing but truth. And even Fran gave in with, embracing that embrace and melting into it. That's the correct approach. Don't run around her annoying her by trying to make her call you mommy. Do this. That's what Fran needs. She needs that warmth. She needs that closeness. And Amanda understands it. And I like it. That's a really great tender moment. I love it. Using fire magic near the woods. Again, I guess all those spikes are just trees. Somehow. And yeah, everybody tried to fight Amanda, but of course nobody managed to withstand her attacks. Only guild leadership or adventurers with permission are allowed to pass the entrance. So that's what the guild license does. Alright, let's go. The totally unfair spider traps. Stands to reason we probably are going to fall into some spider traps. And they probably are going to be unfair. And probably Fran will save the day. Because of course she will. Because she's the main character. And it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun. We're going to conquer a dungeon. I mean, it's supposed to be a test for E rank groups. Fran is a D rank, probably even higher. She's just lacking the experience. So it should be no problem for Fran. Unless, of course, there's something weird afoot inside of the dungeon and there's a demon general that's the dungeon master and it's going to be hard defeating him or something along those lines. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. That was that was episode 9 of Tensei Shitara Ken Deshita. And it was cool. I did very much enjoy it after the previous couple of episodes that were not bad by any means, but were kind of off feeling to me. Not even necessarily in like a bad way. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna be dissing previous episodes. No, I'm just gonna say I really liked this one. Because this is what I wanted from the series from the very beginning. Adventure, right? I watch adventure series for adventure. Like, sure, there is always some strife, there is always some drama, there's always some comedy, sure, but mostly I want the adventure, I want the world, I want the exploration, and I want the cool fights. And this episode provided all of that. It gave us two really cool fights. It gave us a little bit more of a taste for the uniqueness of this world. All those weird clothes and weapons and armor. That's I love seeing it. I always really do love seeing it. It gave us some insight into the mechanics of the world, like delayed chant, for example, like being able to cast two spells of two different elements being something super unique and super never seen before, like the trees that look like stumps or rather like stalactites, right? I love it. I love the exploration aspect of it, and I want to learn more about this world. I want to learn more about the mechanics of it. I want to learn more about its flora, about its fauna, about everything. I want to see weird creatures. I want to see weird plants. I want to see weird clothes. And I have full belief that I will be able to. Hmm. Yeah, I really didn't. I really did enjoy myself in this episode. It had the excitement, it had the world building, it had everything I would expect from this series and everything that I started loving this series in the very first episodes. Those were all the drives that made me want to watch it and want to continue watching it. And it's here again, and I love it. Now, where are we going from here? Hard to tell. We are entering a brand new dungeon, so I can see two possibilities. Either we conquer that dungeon in the next episode, in episode 10, and then episodes 11 and 12, and maybe 13, I'm not sure how many episodes it is. We will go to that dungeon that we wanted to go to in the first place, or we're going to spend like a couple more episodes in this dungeon, episode 10 and 11 spent in the dungeon, spent conquering it. Episode 12, perhaps the final conquest, and a couple of scenes after the conquest is done. right? We were back in the town. We're, I don't know, fixing our gear, getting some new armor, meeting up with friends. Maybe we, I don't know, get some lunch with Amanda, things like that. Kind of a wind down, where the series is going to peak early in episode 12 with the conquest of the dungeon. The dungeon master has been defeated, destroyed, and we're victorious. And the rest, like 3/4 of the of episode 12, is returning to the city, throwing all the materials on the table. Everybody acting so shocked that Fran managed to acquire it, and maybe her rising one rank up or something along those lines. Probably. I mean, whatever's gonna happen, I have full trust that it's going to be good. There hasn't been an episode that would have like disappointed me yet. The previous episode, episode 8, wasn't disappointing. It was just odd how we had those two very contrasting parts to it. But it wasn't bad by any means either. So I really do like this series. I really do enjoy it. And I hope they continue. I hope it gets greenlit for like a second season. If it doesn't, oh well, I guess I'm gonna read the. Is there a manga of it? Or is it just a light novel? I don't know. I'm gonna look it up. If there's a manga, I'm probably gonna read the manga. If there's a light novel, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, right now I think that's all I had to say, but maybe you do have something more to say. And if so, do say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? Um, just, no spoilers, please. I don't want to be spoiled. Other anime only people don't want to be spoiled either. If you do want to talk spoilers, my Discord is here, also in the description. Join it. There's a channel for Tensei Shitara Ken Deshita, which you can join, use spoiler attacks, and talk spoilers to your heart's content. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Tensei Shitara Ken Deshita, but also Symphogear Gear Axis, Gundam Witch from Mercury, Arknights, Prelude to Dawn. What else is there? Management of a Novice Alchemist, and I'm gonna eventually get to watching Madoka Magica Rebellion, the movie, and then Madoka Magica Magia Records. So look forward to that as well. I also stream sometimes, so you might want to click the bell to be notified when I go live. And the notifications are also on the Discord always. What's next? Support the channel if you want monetarily. Patreon Throne links are in the description below. On Patreon for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Symphogear, like Madoka, like other future non-seasonals. For just $1 you get a role on the Discord placed in the credits and access to some early-ish releases. Like if I record something a couple hours early, I might release it on the $1 tier, or if I'm catching up to some series like currently to Management of a Novice Alchemist, the future episodes, like one episode ahead, is going to be on Patreon 1 week early on that $1 tier. So that's something you might want to be interested in. On Throne, you can pitch in directly towards my purchase of better gear, better software, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, it's completely free. Share my content, spread the word. It helps the channel a lot and costs you absolutely nothing. So, with all that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of patrons, and you can be one of them. It's really, really easy.